Hello! We're glad you could join us. Having begun the magical year 2020, the oil and gas industry is back on the desk to appraise all the contentions of the past year, the winning strategies, formulas, policies, ingenuities that made the success and goals possible. Before the year gets too busy, the Honorable Minister of State Petroleum, Chief Timipre Silva, seized the opportunity of a media appearance to espouse the enduring and recent milestones of the industry, which are the veritable building blocks of 2020 and beyond. It weighs heavier on the gas side of things, and rightly so. Plus, the Chief Officers Management Development Program (COMDP) of the NNPC has graduated its batch 087. Thoughts on the mind of the graduates now put into action can be titled "One Good Turn." We'll show you how they did it. By the way, did you know that there is some wholesome freshness in that segment this week? Julia was in your neighborhood with the roving camera. Watch out to see those she met and what they said. Things do not say the same with the oil and gas on the global circuit. What's it looking like as the week begins? It's all in the package. My name is Aki Agbejule. This is Oil and Gas Forum.
We see the NNPC as one of the global leaders in terms of publication of accounts and data. And we look to a champion like NNPC to show what others might also do and to follow elsewhere.
My brother, my sister, make we join the hand to stop pipeline and vandalization. When no they allow government to build the road, hospital, provide light, build the school, and make Nigeria be like big country. Make we dey fight the pipeline and vandalization. Make our country come better for we and we children. Now me and you go stop this wahala. Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. Make our country come better for we and we children. Make we dey fight this yama yama, fight this yama yama. Make our country come better for we and we children.
This message now from Public Affairs Division of NNPC.
President of the Senate, Ahmed Lawan, says the National Assembly is working towards passing the Petroleum Industry Bill (PIB) before the end of the year. He said this while speaking with reporters in Abuja recently.
The PIB that has defied passage, we want to break that jinx. Whatever the mystery, we are determined to ensure that we pass the PIB before the end of this year by the grace of God.
He posited that whatever the entanglement passing the bill had been embroiled, the 9th National Assembly was determined to pass the PIB before the end of this year, saying that the bill is essential to attracting investments into the oil and gas industry. He noted that in the last 10 years, not much investment in the oil and gas sector had come the way of Nigeria, stressing that the country had lost so much to its non-passage, even though it is a legislation that should have catapulted the economy to the level that Nigerians desire.
PIB is so important because until you are able to pass that bill or bills, whichever happens, you cannot attract investments into the oil and gas industry.
Senator Lawan stated that the proposed law, which was conceived to liberalize the governance structure of Nigeria's oil industry, would holistically resolve some of the lingering issues in the petroleum sector.
The Nigerian oil and gas sector has recorded landmark achievements and successes, even as it is poised to deliver more profitably in the future. The Honorable Minister of State for Petroleum Resources, Chief Timipre Silva, disclosed this when he appeared on NTA Network News. Chief Silva enumerated some key investment decisions that had been taken in the last couple of months, which he noted would shape the future of the oil and gas industry and Nigerian economy in 2020 and beyond.
We've been able to pass the Deep Offshore Amendment Bill. We are also in the process of rejigging the PIB, and we are hopeful that the PIB will pass this year.
We have also been able to superintend over the discovery of oil in the northeast. Evaluation is ongoing, but the oil has been discovered in the northeast. We've also been able to take FID on Train 7, and a couple of things that have happened within this period, and we are very fired on to move on this year.
He emphasized the urgent need for the passage of the Petroleum Industry Bill and renewed relationship with the National Assembly and other relevant stakeholders as path to achieving the goal.
We are trying to create some kind of consensus among all the stakeholders, from National Assembly to industry players, to ensure that everybody is on the same page. And this bill will likely pass because we have a renewed relationship between the National Assembly and the executive.
He stated that efforts were afoot to deliberately search for gas, as according to him, past experience had shown that there were no deliberate efforts to search for gas, saying Nigeria was a gas province with little oil.
The Group Managing Director of the Nigeria National Petroleum Corporation (NNPC), Malam Mele Kyari, has said the transparency, accountability and performance excellence tape persuasion of the management under his watch is geared towards transforming the corporation to becoming a benchmark of global excellence. Malam Kyari disclosed this to members of staff of the corporation in a podcast.
The overall objective of TEP is to help build the desired NNPC brand of our pride by instilling the culture of openness, conducting all businesses in a responsive and accountable manner while demonstrating excellence in everything we do. This will definitely lead to tangible improvements in our business performance through ease of information sharing, collaboration and cooperation across the corporation and with external stakeholders.
He stated that already he had completely aligned the NNPC to the principles of the Extractive Industries Transparency Initiative, EITI, saying that this would enable the corporation to measure up with the global dynamics of the oil and gas industry.
We have decided to enroll NNPC as a partner company for the global EITI initiative, which means it places greater responsibility or transparent accountability on us.
Malam Kyari said the TAPE initiative offered the corporation the opportunity to imbibe a business culture shift that would promote improved project delivery to all stakeholders. He enjoined members of staff of the NNPC to ensure proper alignment to the TAPE initiative in order to build an NNPC that will become a global benchmark of transparency.
The Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation (NNPC) has said that sovereign guarantee and 85% funding portfolio have been secured to progress the Ajaokuta-Kaduna-Kano pipeline project, popularly dubbed AKK project. Group Managing Director of the Nigeria's State Oil Corporation, Malam Mele Kyari, made this disclosure at the sidelines of the just concluded Atlantic Council's Energy Forum in Abu Dhabi.
We are done with AKK in terms of financing and getting for it. As a matter of fact, we're moving to site in February, latest by March. And that means that we'll physically start constructing the pipeline. It means that we have secured the financing, both in terms of our equity contribution and the clear indication that we'll have 85% financing from the Chinese. That is sorted out.
The NNPC GMD speaks on efforts by the current administration to attract funding for some of the ongoing infrastructure projects in Nigeria.
The last 2-3 months, there are a number of interventions by our president and leaders of business in our country, and that has brought back on the table a number of partners, including the Saudi Aramco, the Saudi Sovereign Investment Fund, ADNOC, and so many of them.
Kyari stated that as of December 2019, Nigeria had complied completely with the organization of the petroleum exporting countries' output cuts.
Our promise was that by the end of December, we will be compliant in the cuts that we promised, and we have done that.
The Organization of the Petroleum Exporting Countries, OPEC, says the global oil demand is projected to increase by almost 12 million barrels per day in the long run. OPEC stated this in its current World Oil Outlook, WOO. It added that consumption from Non-Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development (OECD) regions are expected to grow to 21.4 million barrels per day. OPEC noted that in the medium term, oil demand growth will mostly originate from non-OECD Asian regions, particularly China. The organization stated that transportation will continue to form the largest part of oil demand, adding that road transportation will go up over 2.9 million barrels per day, aviation over 2.4 million barrels per day, and marine bunkers over 0.8 million barrels per day. It added that petrochemicals would account for the largest incremental demand of over 4.1 million barrels per day.
Members of the recently graduated Batch 087 NNPC Chief Officers Management Development Program (COMDP) have been charged to display uncommon courage in raising the dynamics and challenges of the oil and gas industry. Speaking at the Batch 087 graduation and project presentation ceremonies held at the group's Learning Department and Corporate Learning Center, Mosimi, Ogun State recently, the Chief Operating Officer, Gas Power, Engineer Yusuf Usman, charged the successful management trainees to brace up for the challenges that come with their new training.
You have started a management journey by this project that you have done. Because one of the examples of management is to give back to society. If you begin to give back to society, you have already started assuming a position of leadership.
While commissioning some corporate social responsibility projects undertaken by the trainees, Engineer Usman thanked members of the Batch 087 of the COMDP for their initiative to bequeath some landmark contributions to the host community with the construction and electrification of the Envisioners Drive, renovation of the CLC main lecture block, and the unveiling of the prototype for the proposed corporate learning center.
For you to sit down and think of improving the environment you are is a fantastic leadership quality that we are looking for.
On his part, President of the COMDP 087, Dr. Ejike Azi, said the graduates who were dubbed Envisioners 087 have displayed uncommon focus and sacrifice in the completion of the project without external financial supports.
I must acknowledge the enormous personal and financial sacrifices made by the class to ensure the realization of this project. Some class members went the extra mile in sponsoring aspects of the project on personal basis.
It's a project that we engage as participants of the Chief Officers Management Development Program of NNPC in order to touch the lives of the community around us. So when we came, we decided that we must do something that would leave a legacy within the community.
Over 50 trainees grouped into 3 batches graduated from the Management Incubation Program, which ran from 14th October 2019 to 17th January 2020. The NNPC Properties Limited, the real estate management company of NNPC, has recorded a huge milestone in its efforts to recover the corporation's landed property across the nation. This was announced recently by the National Oil Company Estate Management Company, saying 92 hectares of NNPC Lekki land along Chevron Drive worth 60 billion naira has been recovered. The outfit also stated that it saved about 1 billion naira for the corporation in the process of acquiring an operational complex for NAPIMS in Abuja. This was disclosed by the NNPC Chief Operating Officer COO Ventures, Ms. Laurentia Ndupu, represented by the Group General Manager, Renewable Energy Division, Mr. Tunde Bakari, at the flag-off of a marketing and sales sensitization campaign which held at the NNPC Towers, Abuja.
This is the mindset, passion and dogged determination that propelled the recovery of 92-hectare parcel of land on Chevron Drive, Lekki, Lagos, after 18 years of being in limbo, now slated for development as Lekki Marina Estate.
In his presentation, the acting managing director, NNPC Properties Limited, Engineer David Adeyeye, stated that the company, under his watch, was determined to deliver quality and affordable houses with the best value for the staff.
In NNPC Properties Limited, we provide palliative for Nigerians, especially stakeholders in the oil and gas industry. hoped you could join us on the feedback segment of the program. My name is Julia Auta. The Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation NNPC weekly TV flagship program, captioned Oil and Gas Forum, is designed mainly to inform, educate, and enlighten viewers about the ever-bustling activities in the global oil and gas industry. On today's edition, we are sampling views about the impacts of the program.
It makes the authority, the NNPC, to have interaction with the stakeholders so that they can feel also the feelings of the stakeholders, marketers in the downstream, even upstream operation, and to educate Nigerians about what Nigerians don't know about oil and gas.
I've had cause to watch that program a number of times, and first of all, I would say it's really informative. It's educative. It sheds light more about the activities of the NNPC.
The program is timely. The Oil and Gas Forum weekly. It's a timely one. You get to know every of the activities of NNPC and all its subsidiaries, within that week.
I was very interested in the program, in the way they present. They also give scholarships to people.
Oil and Gas Forum is a good one. One, because information is key. For a layman who does not understand the runnings or the business of the oil and gas, if you keep weekly watch of the program, it brings you to, it brings you up to speed.
A lot of people out there that doesn't know NNPC got to know more about NNPC. They got to know what NNPC is up to, what they've done, what they're about to do, and what they are doing presently.
Well, I think in addition to what the NNPC is doing currently, which is publishing its monthly oil and gas operations and financials, the program on NTA has also helped or is helping a lot of Nigerians, myself inclusive, understand the operations of the NNPC.
I'm learning something out of it, yes, and I believe others will keep to watch it, and I advise everybody, every Nigerian, to listen to the program.
Indeed, you will agree with me that the program has improved the narratives about the Nigeria oil and gas sector and helped in giving the people an informed point of view about the petroleum industry. And that's all we can accommodate on this segment. Please don't go away as the rest of the program continues.
We are better because we stand on the shoulders of giants. NNPC already is a giant, one that leads by example. I'm proud to be standing on a platform which they made possible.
NNPC, we touch your lives in many positive ways.
Hello and welcome to this segment of the program. My name is Tola Bobuade. Did you know that the federal government established the Nigerian National Oil Company via a decree in May 1971? Did you know that Nigeria joined the Organization of the Petroleum Exporting Countries, OPEC, in July 1971? In addition, Nigeria became the 11th member of OPEC and the 3rd African country to join the organization. Nigeria had its first stint with oil boom as production rose to over 2 million barrels in 1974. Did you also know that the federal government merged the Nigerian National Oil Company and parts of the Ministry of Mines and Power to create the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation, NNPC, on the 1st of April 1977? Now you know. Please stay tuned for the rest of the program.
As a beneficiary of the funds that NNPC disbursed as part of this competition, I can definitely say that it has been a very positive contributed to my life. I think that I was able to afford university, I was able to pay for books because I was a part of this competition, and it inspired me to continue to work hard in my chosen endeavor.
NNPC, we touch your lives in many positive ways.
Hello and welcome to Global Crude Oil Outlook. Oil prices fell, resuming their declines after a brief pause as alarm spread over the economic impact of the coronavirus in China, while a bigger than expected increase in US crude stocks added to the negative tone. Brent crude futures was down 62 cents or 1% at $59.19 per barrel, having risen 0.5% during the week. US West Texas Intermediate WTI crude futures was down 51 cents or 1% at $52.82 per barrel after dropping 0.3% in the previous session. Prices had steadied in recent days after a rout pushed them to 3-month lows as investors tried to assess damage from the virus to economic growth and demand for crude oil and products. The rising death toll from the virus and its dispersion around the world have again turned screens red, with Asian stock markets down sharply. Bigger than expected gains in US crude oil inventories last week also kept pressure on prices. Crude stocks rose by more than 7 times market expectations, gaining 3.5 million barrels in the week to January 24, the US Energy Information Administration EIA said. Gasoline stocks rose to a record high, increasing for a 12th consecutive week to 261.1 million barrels, the EIA said. Thanks for watching. I am Owigo Okolo.
Now that we're very happy that we have somebody who's the GMD that has a part of EITI at the local and the international level and knows that our work is not against the work of NNPC. Our work is actually complementary.
My brother, my sister, make we join the hand to stop pipeline of vandalization. When no they allow government to build the road, hospital, provide light, build the school, and make Nigeria be like big country. Make we dey fight the pipeline of vandalization. Make our country come better for we and we children. Now me and you go stop this wahala. Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. Make our country come better for we and we children. Make we dey fight this yama yama, fight this yama yama. Make our country come better for we and we children.
This message now from Public Affairs Division of NNPC.
That's been Oil and Gas Forum and the delightsome package that we brought to you. It's a brand new week. Make it profitable. Join us next week.